co řeknu, co bych neměl.
Okay.
We are live. One second, I'm gonna refresh.
Hello.
Is it your echo?
Hi. I think it's all good. We should be live.
All good in the hood.
Yes. Hi. Hi, guys. Oh fuck. Okay.
Instantly kill everybody's
Yeah.
face.
Hi. Let me know if you can hear me. Let's wait a minute or two. Ah, Jesus.
I'm so busy that I started the stream early.
This is hello. So yeah, I think we can start. Hi guys, welcome to the next Monday of the musical chairs. As always, the stream is sponsored by Woo. If you like to show some love, show some support to the stream, you can make an account with the first link you see in the description. After you make a deposit and open the first trade, you will get a bunch of benefits which you can see at the bottom of the screen in that white tab, whatever thing. And with that being said, we can take a look at some of the Ponzi schemes for this week.
How dare you?
If you can switch to my screen at least.
Yeah, I did. There's a bit of delay.
Okay. So starting with BTC as always, we had quite a move today. Last week when we spoke, we were around the similar price. So to be fair, if you were not really trading Bitcoin the whole week, not much has changed. If I'm being honest, and like in regards to my positions, I spoke to Runner. I kind of missed this whole beautiful move since the lows. Didn't have any kind of entries for it. And for me, BTC now, I'm kind of just waiting sideways for any sort of. I know it's kind of cliche, and obviously you're gonna go to Twitter and there is like no pullbacks ever, no nothing ever, which is of course always kind of possibility that we will just continue straight up to $1 billion, and this thing is never going to pull back. But from like trading perspective, risk to reward perspective, and all of that, I don't really feel like the risk to reward is favorable at the moment to get long. I didn't really have any kind of reasons to go short. Something that I'm kind of looking at constantly, which also did not really change, is how books are looking. We still have this huge wall on Bitfinex. Someone actually bought into this today. You can see 420 BTC got filled right at the highs, so a little bit got sold. It's buy delta, because obviously if you have a resting offer, someone has to basically market buy into it. So this is why it shows like a buy order, but it got filled.
Sorry to interact. I just wanted to ask you if you've seen the tweet from John Brown, I believe his name is.
Yeah. I saw that. It's like 1500. Like 1500. I don't know why here it shows only 450. But yeah, some of this size is basically getting filled here. You can also see the vol kind of moved to the higher prices, which is not this usually happens when this is more of a spoof rather than being a genuine order, when you can see this kind of getting hit and this immediately moves to the upside. So
that's actually a pretty nice example, right, of how when people think they click manually on their in silico terminal, how they're beating some algo.
Yeah. This kind of, and you can see we are still like BTC just basically goes up. We don't have this kind of a blow off top type of situation. Like if you would compare this to what basically happened on this chart, on the 4-hour chart, when we had this top in middle of January, like these kind of rejection, this is something that it's like shortable opportunity compared to just like this drifting straight up, no pullbacks type of situation. So yeah, like BTC is super strong. If this was really the pullback and we are just gonna go higher from here, that's all good. Like I said, for me, I really just I was actually the level that I had marked on my chart was this right here. This kind of a consolidation. We didn't even hit that. I'm using a futures chart a lot recently on the CME futures. So you can see basically today we opened, just filled the gap from the CME futures, like the weekend CME futures gap, and went straight higher without hitting this kind of a area I was looking at to possibly get long, if you would get some sort of like liquidations into it. We didn't get that, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. This chart here, this is the COT data. I kind of mentioned this couple times lately. The red line here is the most important one. These are the kind of a commercial largest traders. This is updated once a week, and obviously this is indexed with different lookbacks to kind of compare the relative sizes of the positioning. These don't change at all. You can see basically this is at as high as it gets, meaning that they are still kind of a max long, and they have been max long ever since October. So with like the very small dip when we actually sold off a little bit. So yeah, the positioning on CMT remains more or less the same. Also, what makes it even more bullish is that this blue line, these are like large and small speculators. This more kind of a with less opacity one. These are the small specs. These are the bigger specs with the clear blue line, and it shows that these guys are mostly heavily short still. So, from this kind of a
is that like European indicator?
yeah, this is Europe and this is US basically. So yeah, this positioning kind of doesn't change, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, wasn't really relevant. You can see I have a bunch of futures markets here, which I kind of trade from time to time. On crypto, this wasn't really super relevant and only became a thing since October, since the OI kind of tripled or quadrupled or whatever. And the positioning of these kind of large traders doesn't really change with these kind of two extremes, which are always kind of the indicators of the direction market should be going. And yeah, like BTC is still looking strong. It's really not that much to say, to be fair. I don't think like you should be trying to short this. It doesn't sound super smart idea to do. There is no sign of weakness. There is no kind of blow off top. Even the last week, not much happened last week, but we still had just this like a small kind of inside candle. Here, it's just going up. I don't think there's a reason to kind of try to play hero trying to short this. Longing this, like I said, it's really not for me, especially the way that I trade now. If I would be for trading on 5-minute time frame, I would most likely find some sort of like a lower time frame level to get in, but on higher time frames, there wasn't really much to look at. And yeah, like looking at the weekly time, the monthly time frame, which is this one on the right here, I feel like we are really hitting some sort of levels of resistance, which I mentioned last week. But yeah, like I said, no clean signs of weakness. I'm personally not looking to long this at the moment.
See you at 60K.
Yeah, I just feel like from risk reward, perspective, there are better trades to take. But yeah, BTC is very, very strong, and we don't really need to spend that much time on that. We can take a look at.
But can I? Okay, maybe before we move on,
sure.
would you like agree that basically I would summarize it as no entry on BTC, and what next? What people do usually is just chase higher, higher risk.
Yeah.
Which is shitcoins.
It's like you can see here, if you're gonna take a look at Velo, the premium, this line right here is this is getting quite high. This is slowly reaching out the levels which we had before, kind of this sell-off right here. But yeah, the funding is still like super low. Funding really got hammered basically at some point, and it's not really insane. So I think this is like a general kind of play for most people now, is they chase altcoins.
Usually 11 of them at the same time, though.
Yeah, usually like all of them. For some magical reason on CT, it's also always the best performing ones. But yeah, that seems to be a play for the most people. I don't know. Like I feel like personally there are not that many coins with like a strong narratives. And this is still very much BTC kind of driven market, like, and you can see this, like even very simply on the right side, like BTC is up 3.5% on the day. Not that many altcoins are up that much. Like, bunch of them are obviously, for example, Solana, which I basically opened long and closed right here, before it done this, is up a lot today. Uh, but but yeah, there are a bunch of coins which are like more or less following just BTC and are strong because of Bitcoin, and I just feel like you need to be really careful when you are picking up these kind of plays, because obviously when BTC is going to kind of pull back, you might end up in a little bit of a trouble because you are just in too many altcoin positions, which will obviously flush away more than that.
Maybe one thing
You
I
can
would
take a
add
look.
though on the funding.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Like BTC, obviously on Binance right now 0.03. Same for OKX. It's kind of elevated, but I just only thing I would like to add to this thing is like it can stay like this for months in a bull
Yeah,
market.
definitely. Like when we had like huge rallies, funding was much higher for much longer. So I just don't really see it as kind of a warning sign at the moment. And even open interest is very kind of flat. It doesn't really move that crazy much on BTC in the first place, but you can see this was after the flush actually. Yeah, like this is, this seems to be a lot of like a spot driven rally, which is obviously quite strong. So yeah, let's have a look at ETH,
Yes.
which today is not for like, it's not performing that well, after obviously being much better performer, and we can take a look at ETH BTC as well. But yeah, I think it is also looking still very solid. I wouldn't, try to. It's coming close to this kind of 3200 area, which is kind of my line on chart, meaning that it has to respect it. But yeah, no signs of weakness on ETH. To be fair, it's really just letting it do its thing.
I know you're the most respected narrative trader in the space right now, so I wanted to ask you back to Bitcoin and the whole ETH-BTC behavior. What do you think was, like, do you pay attention to stuff like, for example, US, like the move on BTC today started as US session opened, right? Just hours
Yeah.
before that, we got Michael Saylor just aping another like $150 million into Bitcoin in last week, and like, do you think that was, how to say it? I hate saying or calling it. Is it the reason why we're pumping? But any thoughts or comments on that front, like an ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF inflows?
I think I don't. To be fair, I don't really pay attention to that. Like I said, since I don't really day trade, I don't look at like times of the day as much of a important factor. Since most of my kind of trading decisions are done at like a daily close on the daily chart, so I don't really care. I'm usually not even around at the US Open. But yeah, it's the ETF. I haven't checked how the inflows are at the moment.
It's like
I know
200
that.
mil last few days.
Yeah, so it's still strong, and it's obviously like I said, it's kind of the main, in my opinion at least, it's like a main narrative in crypto right now is the whole kind of success of BTC ETF. It's silly to say that there is any other reason why the market like is going up in general. So
More buyers than sellers. Thanks for watching. Use the reflling. Goodbye.
Yeah, so ETH slowed down a little bit. ETH BTC sold down a little bit today. It's down like 2-ish%. I still think this is pretty solid. Looking chart, I have exited a little bit of my long, which for the first time didn't mean instant 15% candle to the upside. but yeah, I still think this can go higher. At least above these highs. At least kind of 60. What is this? 061, 064 basically would be my like bigger targets. But yeah, I felt like I got a pretty nice entry on this, and one of the things
Did you
when
happen to
things
copy trade anybody or?
but since like my issue with these kind of very one-directional markets is just like it's hard to kind of manage the positions. So I felt like we are hitting this kind of range high. I just better book some profits, and that was kind of the main idea of exiting rather than doing something
And
too complicated.
also, since we called the show musical chairs and narratives and whatnot, like the Ethereum ETF is as of right now expected for like 23rd of May. So you're basically just under 90 days, but there's halving, which I think could steal the shine again in the short term. So it's gonna be, I think we're entering March, but I think April will be really interesting to see the whole BTC, Ethereum and ETH BTC. I know it's like we discuss it every week and people like asking why we're not discussing some on-chain shitter, but I think this year, at least for me personally, is mostly Bitcoin and ETH trading, which is ETH.
And I think like this obviously can very easily, both of these can very easily run for the next month or so, until halving, until the ETF situation. I think if like you mentioned, if BTC would top out with halving, which is in 2 months from now, I believe, and would like go into like a bigger correction, that definitely could either send the whole market lower or send ETH BTC to like really much higher, because people just still have this kind of a risk on appetite and would just like very heavily rotate into ETH for like a last month.
So according to some website online, it says 53 days to go. Estimate around 20th of April. So actually, for 420, that would be pretty funny.
Nice.
Bitcoin miners are gonna blaze it.
Who's buying BTC ETF and why? Well, not me. That's for sure. But I don't know, like people in the US that trade ETFs, like it's obviously like crypto exchanges and crypto trading in general in the US, like it's not really easy. I don't know if anyone watching is from the United States. Like you cannot really trade perps. You can trade like you can use Coinbase, and that's kind of it, I think, when it comes to centralized exchanges. And yeah, like the ETFs, I feel like for people just present little less risk.
You're essentially paying management fee for giving up the risk of self-custody, if you will.
Yeah, something along these lines. I never owned any ETF in my life, so I'm probably not the best person to talk about that.
But you also used Cardano DeFi, so.
Someone asking about the template. It's very simple. This is the Leviathan volume indicator. This middle thing is something that I made or was made for me. It's not public, so I'm not going to share that. And this is just the open interest delta by Leviathan. And other than that, there is nothing else there. So yeah, I think it's still, like I said, it's looking good. I think we have these kind of narratives that should keep sending markets, for at least next couple of months. But yeah, when it comes to like entries on this, like I obviously can be just a simple cope, but if I want to get long again, or if I really want to get long with like a conviction and size, I'm not going to do it here. I would rather just sit on my hands than just YOLO buying this and hoping for the best type of situation. And I never done this. I've been trading for a bit, and I'm just like sleep much better knowing that I'm missing some trade rather than I would be that idiot who just buys at the high before 10% correction.
I know you hate this question, but I still have to ask. Correlation to traditional markets. Any thoughts there? Because you also trade TradFi and
I think
up only basically.
I don't really look at it that much, but obviously the ES is at all-time high. Like all the indices expect Russell. Russell is kind of struggling a little bit and has been struggling for quite a long time, and it's not really something that many people trade. But even Dow, Nasdaq, and ES are basically at all-time highs. They are. I feel like they kind of own its on its own type of situation. I feel like that's really not like I feel like BTC has its own narrative, and stocks at the moment has its own narrative. That make kind of sense, you know. Obviously, Nasdaq this last push on ES as well last week basically was driven by Nvidia earnings that haven't really done anything to BTC, if I'm correct. Yeah, it's basically wasn't really the case for Bitcoin. So yeah, I think the correlation is not really there at the moment. Obviously, both of these things are going up, but I feel, like I said, I feel like they are going up for different reasons, rather than it's simply, you know, like a. But obviously, there is this kind of a risk-on sentiment. You know, people are buying stocks, people are buying crypto, people just, you know,
aping.
buying risk. Yeah, people just aping risk assets. Yeah.
Yeah, I have this developing theory that Bitcoin will have a correction when traditional markets have corrections, so we can have another stream in like 11 years.
That's very likely because this thing is insanely overextended. I have a back adjusted chart, meaning that in like realistically it's even higher than the all-time high, but yeah, this has been super strong. ES and all the indices have been very strong, and also, you know,
But
AI.
also, we are both from Europe, so take it with a pinch.
Okay, so
But maybe we
some
can
of the
talk about
altcoins.
Worldcoin.
Oh, sure, we can do that. I think that's still, it still feels like, you know, like it's a lot of things happening and so on and so forth, but it's still I still feel like the best performers without, you know, like you going insane trying to catch everything are, you know, layer ones, layer twos, and the AI coins. Uh, we had a Unis situation we can talk about, and people bringing back the old DeFi coins, but from like a sustainable point of view, I really feel like if you just stick to layer one, layer two, and from layer one you don't need to look at all fucking layer ones. It's basically just like the big ones, you know, Solana, Avalanche, Near is doing really well. And yeah, so the Worldcoin.
Well, it started pumping. I think it's like interesting lore or the situation around it. Nvidia beat. It went to infinite. Or no, it started with
Nvidia beat
trying to
here basically.
Okay.
So
So
I
before
think,
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
race, right?
Yeah, before that was the race.
And today's candle down is basically some CT guy saying that it's overvalued and everybody shorted. DeFi squared. Did you see that post from him?
No, I haven't.
I can I can tell you
Sure,
because
sure.
I have it. I'm prepared for today's stream.
Nice. Someone asking about the background color, so we can have a little coloring session. You can copy this number.
1 second, I have to go back to yours.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's all good. I showed it, so it should be all right.
Okay. No, but I had a screen on mine, you
Oh,
know. So
yeah.
please do it again.
Then so it's this number right here. Okay. Pause the video, save it. Okay, you can change the.
Yes.
You can change the to yours.
So basically, this post is about as long as my autobiography, but basically short Worldcoin because FDV is too high. I think we had this discussion before, but obviously this guy's fucking successful Chad and everything. But you know, like the thoughts. Basically, the question is thoughts on FDV. You know, basically Worldcoin situation.
Yeah, like this kind of, you know, it's like one of those light crypto posts when he like posted about Aptos, you know, back in a year ago when, you know, Aptos was insane, and, you know, it like didn't make sense at all for it to be this insane. Which, yeah, like obviously it's like super extended. I don't even know what the FDV is of this.
It's like an 80 billion.
kind of the issue and kind of thing which sucks with these things is that, like, if you take a look at Aptos, for example, which is somewhere, it's definitely somewhere is here. Like, you had this insane rally in Aptos, and Light basically posted about it at the top. And the run up took like this was like 2 weeks of just like straight up only type of situation, and then it obviously retraced the whole thing, but it took like 9 months, 10 months of retracement. So first of all, I know this is not the trade for me because I'm not going to sit 10 months in some shitcoin just going for full retrace. And even so, like, I just don't feel like it's that good of a trade, basically, because simply the way that crypto kind of works is that, like, there is this insane run up, and then, you will just kind of have usually this slow grind down, then maybe next, like, higher type of situation. So, yeah, like, if obviously this was already overvalued down here, so I think that's a fair point, but I don't know if I would just like, if I love to short this and just sit in this for, I feel like, longer period of time.
And I think it's also worth mentioning, like DeFi Squared, Light. I'm not sure about Light, but I've heard, but like also hearing things right in crypto. But GCR, these type of guys, can sit in that short because they have bazillion, unlimited amount of dollars basically in collateral. And maybe somebody trading smaller account has, I would say, is better. Like the opportunity cost is quite high.
It's like someone mentions this in comment, like this is definitely like a better situation when you just like rotate out of it, like if you just hold a bunch of AI coins, like realistically this went up 250% in 2 weeks, like don't be greedy asshole, just take some profits. This is clearly, I'm not gonna say bubble, like obviously there's like a big buzzword with AI now that like AI is bubble and all of that. Like, I don't know, it's just super overextended, all the AI coins basically, for most of them.
Like at least I personally like some other better, like some better than the others, and I'm not sure if Worldcoin is I would choose Worldcoin last out of them all. It's technically Sam Altman social token, and in crypto I've learned the hard way with Sam Bankman-Fried that.
Yeah.
Did you see Fetch? I think what it could be interesting a trade, but like potentially short. I hate to say that there's short setups, but some guy working for Fetch basically tweeted something like "Mark your calendars, March 5th, #Fetch." It's like,
really?
Yeah, and it's like announcement of an announcement, which is just
like these were like last year like the best no-brainer short trades. Yeah, like if people running the announcement styles, it's always too good to maybe look for a little fade. Obviously now more than ever I wouldn't really hold it for long, but maybe if you are around on March 5th, and it's not some groundbreaking thing, and it's just a little bit of a disappointment, and it could be a great small short
just like everything in
intra-week.
crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be my favorite trades to take last year, and 2022 was project saying biggest news ever. Then it was dog shit, and you could just free short it.
Yeah. So yeah, outside of AI, I don't know, like, obviously Near is very strong, and I kind of briefly talked about it before. It's still going, and I feel like this is a nice one because not many people talk about it at all. Like, I don't see many people on timeline. I'm not sure if anyone even uses the layer 1 at all, but it's very clearly the best performer at the moment, and the chart is looking, it's breaking outside of this huge kind of consolidation. So I feel like this can be a good coin to get on any kind of pullback.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen nobody talk about Near last
Yeah,
few weeks, and I
yeah.
know you've been, so you're probably just trying to dump on your followers.
I longed it here and basically closed it somewhere around here, and then longed it again, but closed it again. So I'm not long anymore. So
That's like
I'm
me
not
with
going
ETH
to.
BTC, basically.
Yeah. The NIR has been super nice. Solana, unfortunately, I really paper-handed this one. That was a very nice spot bid at the end of the last week, which is kind of showing today. I think Solana is always going to be strong. After what happened towards the end of the last year, I just find it kind of funny. Like I saw on Twitter, like people complaining throughout the whole kind of range because we are, since end of the year basically Solana is in range, and a lot of people were kind of complaining that it's just not doing anything. Like this thing is up,
10x in a year.
300%. Yeah, this is like insanely up. Like people just it's like almost 10x basically in a less than a year. So it's kind of funny that people just expect this to go to 200 immediately from here. But with all that being said, I really feel like Solana is like a most active, layer one. I don't know if it's only because I follow a lot of Solana people or whatnot, but yeah, I would expect this to still perform, fairly well and go. And it's also like nicely kind of strongly correlated with BTC. It seems like
Yeah.
when Bitcoin goes up, Solana goes up as well. So yeah, I think Sol is nice. Nice one to look at. And other layer ones, I don't know, like there's not much I think worth mentioning. Injective, it's also up like 10x or whatever amount, so it's a little slower at the moment. And other than that, nothing super interesting to me.
We can maybe look at the Uniswap proposal thingy, which is already retracing hard.
Someone asking about the higher time frame. I look at usually weekly and daily charts like these. I have a monthly chart here just for sake of like you don't really have to look at it more than once a month. But my trading is like very simple levels and nothing really complicated. So I just trade like SR and stuff like that, like the Solana trade, which is here. Basically, was just like retesting this level of SR. Then I usually go to add some of the order flow nonsense to it, so it justifies it for me a little better. But Solana was a nice example because, like I said, there was a large bit getting filled on Solana towards the end of the last week, which is right here. You can see these kind of bubbles. There was this resting bit. Someone actually filled it. So yeah, just simple order flow with simple price action. So yeah, let's talk about the Uniswap thing and if the DeFi is back or not.
Sure. Wait, what the fuck is my computer? Yeah, good. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So did you read the whole situation? What is basically happening? I think the context is important.
Spent like 2 minutes reading this on Saturday, so not really.
TLDR, Uniswap Foundation, is making fuck ton of money every year in fees, right? Every time you try to sell anything and pay $11,000 for it on mainnet. No, I'm kidding. No, the company is making a lot of money, but due to, I'm not a lawyer, but basically they cannot do the revenue, right? So like, let's say you hold Uniswap and you could get, some money back through some sort of revenue distribution back to the holders. Basically, SEC always like, no, fuck you, you cannot do that. Blah blah blah. And from my understanding, not a lawyer, not an expert, and also read maybe 3 minutes longer than you, is basically the proposal is to do some sort of model that would benefit holders of Uniswap, and all the all the DeFi, if you will, could copy that, which is obviously why we had a 2x basically move in a day. And some like comments from actual lawyers that I've seen is like maybe they're just being a cocky, Uniswap, and because there wasn't actual legislation passed. You cannot just make law because governance proposal, fuck you SEC. That's not really how it works in real life. And I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how market is digesting it right now. Like we had a 2-day pump, and now it's it's down another 25% since the top.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's, I don't know, like I haven't looked at DeFi coins for a very long time. I know that
if you zoom out
Uniswap,
long enough, it's just disgusting charts.
yeah. But to be fair, like if this is still a thing, if it's going to retrace basically where the pump started, shake out all the kind of late longs, and hits around $7.5, I would maybe look to get long, on this kind of a retest of this level. Once again, pretty simple stuff, especially if they would kind of continue with the narrative of the revenue share.
But I think why this, like, even though this isn't very actionable, and somebody for sure will say, like, what the fuck, I've learned nothing again. I think it's what is good is reading about these and then trying to build the framework of, will this stick, yes or no. I think the AI narrative, and AI is probably the easiest, and maybe GameFi as well. Like they're the most easy to grasp for most people, right? Like when you explain it to somebody, they'll be like, okay, I understand. And some narratives they last for like 2 fucking days, if that. So I think it's good exercise for people to try to kind of, when we take trades, right, we compare them to previous trades. For example, like if we have a good short setup, we might be like, oh, this reminds me of Shibarium, right? That was like a trade we took quite a bit last year. So I think having these autistic internal categories for you, or journaling. I know people hate hearing about journaling. They're like, why the fuck would I journal? I don't know. It's useful.
Yep. Someone asking about something on Celestia, which I never heard of.
Nah, forget it. Sorry, I mean, it's probably not even on TradingView.
Yeah.
Somebody asking about Rune, our favorite.
I cannot even look at that chart. I don't even know where it is. It's going to be in DeFi most likely. It's here. Yeah, like this is looking fairly strong. Obviously, from like a larger point of view, it had this insane run at the end of the last year. Hasn't done much since. You can be very simple with these things and just draw like a range basically, and your best entries if you want to get long are at the range lows kind of situation, which we are not at the moment. So I would be looking at like $4.5 for like a retest of these lows, basically this kind of consolidation to get long if you want to be long this.
Somebody's getting angry at my comment about Trestle. The thing did 1.2 million daily volume, so sorry, we're not looking at it.
What's the Starknet situation? Something that I also paid very little attention to, but it's kind of dying.
Well, Starknet, very, very bad tokenomics. I think it's probably one of the worst examples in history, like from at least since I'm in crypto for 4 years now. Basically, devs calling airdrop farmers e-beggars. just like, I mean, like imagine, and like basically going on a shizo rant, like how people farming the protocol are fucking poors, and then like deleted Telegram or something. So
Nice.
that's the left part of your chart, right, on the 4 hour. But then I think it's like good step in a good direction. They like changed the tokenomics a little bit, because did you hear the whole situation with TGE, what they did?
No.
So, okay, basically they're saying we're dropping a token, right, which happened, I don't know, a few days ago or weeks now. But like I'm butchering it a bit, but the idea is, oh no, we actually did a token 2 years ago. So you would basically instantly have the like massive unlock in April, which is fucking ridiculous. Like call everybody poor, and then we're getting billions of dollars to dump on you, retards. Just like what? And that pump from 1.7 to like That's
this
pretty
move.
pathetic pump if you look at it. They basically said, hey, we're gonna do, the unlock is not basically happening.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
fact
I
that
think
it's
that
fully retraced already is when Bitcoin is mooning is kind of concerning.
yeah, that's like a thing with all these kind of layer ones, layer twos. Is like you don't need that kind of a cult base
Yeah.
of people that will just like die shilling it. And if you're just like asshole and like you are like I hate to say it, but like the community side with these like projects is like so important, and it's more important than any kind of technical analysis, any kind of order flow or whatever, since these are still very relatively small projects. So like when you just like piss off a whole bunch of people, like there is a big chance like the way to success is going to be very, very hard. And it's kind of, you can see it on the charts here.
And that's what Solana did very well, right? Like how many times was Solana offline this month alone, right? Like it's like every other Sunday basically shit is not
Yeah.
working. And funniest thing is they call it mainnet beta or something like that. But people don't care. People use it. People love the chain.
Yeah.
NFT
Yeah.
communities are booming. I know it sounds a bit of cope. Like me and you don't fall for that shit, but I would rather, look at ecosystems that have good quote unquote reputation
Yeah,
than something that
definitely.
shoots itself in the leg, in the head, and in the other leg as
Yeah.
well.
And I think it's like even like if you look at Optimism and Arbitrum, I saw some like problems with Arbitrum, like it was also offline, but basically no one noticed for quite a bit. And I saw some things on like forums, people just complaining about being kind of dead chain and whatever, like, and like you would expect these to be up much higher. Obviously Optimism, I think it's almost at like near all-time high, and Arbitrum probably as well, so they are still up a lot. But like if you like these two things should be like during this ETH BTC run since 13th of February, basically. Like this is the kind of prime ETH beta type of situation, and we spoke about this last week as well. Like when you can take a look at OP, which is like basically the at like a same price when the ETH BTC rally started, and Arbitrum is like way lower than that, which is kind of not the best for ETH beta when ETH is actually strong and ETH beta is just shit.
And that's why it's beautiful that there's no guarantees, right? Because there were weeks when ETH betas would outperform on green ETH BTC candles,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
last few days, not really.
Someone asking about Celestia. I tried to long it somewhere in here. It didn't really play it that well. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of done. To be fair, like it went from a $2 to 17, which once again it's
Like the
quite insane.
Worldcoin situation, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just like
PP.
it's up 600% in 3 months or 4 months or whatever. Like like what's more there basically. I'm not sure what's the market cap now or all of these things, but yeah, it's just like it just pumped too much. There is like cap on these things, and I know like people kind of expect things to go to infinity, but obviously this has been up only. Now it's just stuck in a big range for 2 months. It's kind of memed on Twitter. People still kind of mentioning it quite a lot, but I think this is just like a gone trade. Like your money was made in this once this kind of starts to slow down, especially after we had this kind of a false attempt to make a new all-time high. And we basically like when I was taking the trade, I had this level right here. This was like, okay, like if this is really continue to be bullish, this should hold. It held for a bit and sold off. Now it's underneath that. So yeah, I'm not really interested in Celestia, and I don't think this is the best long to be focusing on.
Maybe seems like Nier outperformed Celestia last month, which is bizarre, just to even say.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah. Meme coins. Yeah, this is something that I like don't even look at, to be fair. I know that Pepe had this kind of a situation, which I once again cannot really describe much, with like a lot of people shorting it and they got squeezed insanely. It kind of drives, more of these. The WIF is doing still quite well.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised about WIF. We memed
Yeah.
it. We memed it quite a bit.
But I just feel like it's once again this kind of a Solana community situation where people just like are so loyal to this kind of a meme that they just like Ansem is at least posting like 5 times a day about head is staying on, and it's clearly it's staying on because like this is if you're gonna compare it to Bonk, which I also have it here, this is just that. But once again, this is that thing that done like million X, so like how higher this can actually go.
But it's I mean, Bonk is 1000% the euthanasia roller coaster. Since you mentioned, like, I would you rather at these prices go all in Bitcoin, ETH, or Bonk?
Definitely
Like,
Bonk.
Obviously, it was a joke just for.
Someone is asking what's the good play for midterm. Well, that's an interesting question. I think STX is actually this is also up quite a lot.
What the
So I don't.
fuck?
Yeah, this I've been kind of tracking this. I actually had a long on this, which I closed way too soon. But yeah, like since this is a like BTC season, in my opinion at least, I think these BTC kind of related coins are really good bets, and STX. How Ordinals looking? Ordinals are kind of
No,
slowing
you're
down a little
looking
bit.
at OP, brother.
Oh shit. What else is here? Yeah, this is slowing down quite a bit as well.
But
I don't know, like
the Ordinals inscription ecosystem is booming. So
yeah,
people minting and doing the JPEGs and other Ponzi's on it, but they're doing well. Like I've seen some of the JPEGs sell for like a BTC, which if you think about
yeah,
it, it's ridiculous.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like me personally, every time like obviously I have like a lot of coins here. I don't look at these every day. But the things that I kind of keep paying attention to are still I feel like I like always the same things. I look at Solana because it's just like we talked about, like the biggest layer ones, the Near, which is obviously doing well. But for me and I feel like for Runner as well, like ETH and BTC are still going to be like the best place. Like if you get a pullback,
Exactly.
and if we really get some sort of sell off, and if you get some sort of pullback, I think like your best bet is still betting BTC and ETH, even though like there might be some altcoin which will outperform in like percentage wise, but it just feels way smarter to get into Bitcoin, get into ETH, rather than get into 15 altcoins basically.
I mean, if you do Bitcoin weekly, and you discussed it, we've been up for 6 months, literally nonstop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, since September.
What is my mid? What does it even like mean? For midterm hold, like
Basically, like since September, we did not take a previous month low on BTC, which is kind of crazy.
not even close, right?
Yeah,
Like that low on January lasted like a day,
yeah,
and I don't know. Like I personally, I've used to do it. Like my first cycle is like buy every green candle because I feel like you're not gonna miss out fucking anything. This market is going to be retarded, for a long time. And
yeah. Like
I would rather have levels on good coins, quote unquote, than like I'm not buying anything here. The time to buy
like
was weeks ago.
I feel like if BTC would, for example, pull back into like 45, 42K area, basically this like last consolidation, which would be the situation when everyone would be just calling it's over, whatever. I think this is very nice level to buy Bitcoin again, and if you would get something like this, for example.
That watch just go to all-time highs and people are calling us two retards again. Which
Yeah.
I mean, happy days, right? Because everybody's going to be a bazillionaire on Twitter again, then
Yeah, the Twitter is getting a little unbearable again, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
No, but like I think the question is good, you know, the midterm, but needs more context because I think midterm for everybody is something else. As we discussed, we had AI coin, then RWA, right? Everybody buying Ondo, then Uniswap, back to AI, then Hasaka tweeted, then we need to rotate again. So like, what is midterm these days? Is it 4 days? Is it, you know, for
Yeah.
and like we talked about like Bitcoin bottom on like 39K or whatever. It was a month ago. It feels like 3 months at least to me. So like, what is midterm? I think
Yeah.
like people now who are in stablecoins, who are in bear market USDT maxis are fucked because they're watching market just go to infinity, being sidelined. That is the pain.x situation. And it's, I don't know, like people for some reason find it very difficult to sit on their hands. And I know it sounds like cope, but like doing nothing, there's no shame in that. And Bitcoin is still pushing higher. I mean, it's...
Yeah. What do you think about a Blast launch, which is in 3 days, I believe?
I think Blur trade is done. Like the classic, as you say, you know, I would be looking to take profit.
Yeah, I think it is. This was kind of the last
Yeah,
last pump.
that was the Uniswap actual proposal when Pacman,
Yeah,
the CEO,
yeah.
and I even looked at it in my personal stream, but order flow was very very clean on this. Yeah, like, you know, so okay, we have a let's do it this way. Blast, you know, has been in the making for a few months now. Everybody knows about it. Has a massive TVL because it's a one-way bridge. Lol. And like, what now, right? It's coming in a few days. I think the ecosystem could do well given we're in a full retard mania phase right now. At least it feels like in the market. But I just, you know, just like you said with many previous examples, like if you long it, what do you target? You know, where's the invalidation? Just
Yeah, this is your kind of a very classic time to get out, even maybe short, to be fair. Like I wasn't trading this weekend. But yeah, this kind of a run up in the OI immediate with no follow through above the new highs type of situation. It's very solid. Kind of a topping signal, and you can see, you know, how it's performing today compared to BTC and ETH.
But that's why we call the show musical chairs, right? I know it sucks to hear it when you're long something that's not on the menu today, metaphorically speaking, but just these markets don't give a fuck if you like some coin. Like, I mean, I still hold something. I round trip like pretty reasonable, like 6-figure position to like 12K because I thought it's gonna do well next cycle, and oh well, you know. I would say move out of Blur to anything else, basically any other narrative.
Okay, so
we talked about that is not on chain.
Some coins, yeah. If you have any bigger coins you want us to talk about, look at some order flow, look at some charts. We can do that.
Any upcoming event trades like Blur? Good question. I know we're like two old boomers, but the Ethereum upgrade, which should help layer 2s, could maybe... I don't know, we're just repeating ourselves, but I feel like everything is so over... I would not enter anything here. Like, literally...
Yeah,
like I'm the biggest ETH BTC bull. I'm the biggest retard on CT, shilling ETH BTC every single day. And I would not buy it here. Like, that's how overextended everything feels to me. So
Matic, did they have the rebrand already? It's doing very well, actually. It's like one of the things that I was kind of planning to long, and I never got filled. I actually had some orders on Matic here in like 74, which is way gone. But yeah, Matic is strong. Matic is, you know, I think they are having this rebrand, or they already had it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they first mentioned it in like almost half a year ago, actually, which is
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
interesting. And you know, it I don't think it has like, maybe I'm wrong, very likely in this example, but yeah, I've seen on my other computer that they mentioned it months ago.
yeah. I remember seeing that also quite a long ago. And yeah, it's holding really well if you, especially if you compare it to OP Arbitrum, which is kind of like a similar
But also,
section.
relatively speaking, underperformed, right? On like weekly.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a under once that's I once again, and we are really repeating ourselves so much here, but look at ETH since January 24th. Look at BTC since January 24th, and look at Matic. It's also kind of quite up, actually. Okay, this wasn't.
I mean,
But
if unsure, just do Matic against BTC.
yeah, like it's definitely, underperforming in this type of sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
basically a
dog shit.
sideways type of situation. And even against it. So yeah, I think Matic is good, but I don't think that the rebrand kind of a classic crypto thing to pump the price is strong enough narrative. And once again, it's more holding only because, market is going up. It has this kind of a underlying theme going for it, but
I mean, Matic is pumping because Trader SZ is not streaming anymore, so
yeah.
no one to short it.
Say, this is not looking bad, but it's also up from 10 cents to 86 in last 3 months. So I'm not sure. I think this is one of those kind of a bigger, consolidation charts rather than this is doing something insane on its own again. If you kind of think about it, it's up almost 10x. BTC and ETH is like very overextended. I'm not sure if there is anything going on for say. And we kind of briefly talk about Injective, which was kind of a similar thing. Not something that I'm like super interested in longing. It's
Somebody's
very
asking
messy.
XRP. I mean, sell everything.
Does it even? Yeah.
Do XRP BTC weekly. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's like a probably
That's
the best.
literally, dude. No XXX. Careful. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. This is like that
Look,
most.
before I highly, people hate it. I know you watch YouTube 100x return next week videos, but look at the coin and look at it at Bitcoin pair. If it looks like this chart, just never ever look at it ever again in your life and thank me later. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of trading XRP? Holy shit, dude! You paper-handed BNB big time, didn't you?
I paper-handed this such a big time. It's not even funny because my entry was literally this fucking trade. I'm so salty about this. Well, I'm not that salty, but yeah, I logged it here, closed it basically over here. Yeah, this was up a lot. This is a little bit painful. To be fair, I only longed BNB. It's like 2 weeks ago because it looked good. It was like breaking outside of this kind of consolidation. But yeah, this I wasn't definitely expecting this to have so many likes and
But
going.
also don't see much on CT, right? Like,
Yeah, and like, is something going on with Binance, or this is just like going on its own because there is like a risk on, and like I have like no idea if the Binance like smart chain has like any volume or whatever.
okay, Chef Abetrade. No, I think it's look, as you said, risk on, but also bunch of launch pads all the time. Launch
Yeah.
pools.
Yeah, and it's still like, look, like BNB, and I remember when it was trading at like $200, and there was this like a level of support where CZ would basically was willing to sacrifice a newborn child to hold this, and like this basically since 2021. This didn't have that kind of a overall correction which like BTC and ETH had. Like this still held very, very well compared to like overall. market. So it's just like, and obviously Binance has the most volume. You know, people, there are like incentives to buy BNB, you know, with launch pads, with like better fees and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely doing quite well. But instead of buying BNB, you should buy Woo and use our link in the description.
Wow.
Which is
That
also
was
doing well. And
very
this was
smooth.
like this, yeah, the smoothest shill transaction ever.
No, but what do you think of the category itself? I don't know. Like the cheaper fees thing.
You need to, for the layout, by the way, you need to check the symbols here to sync on the all screens. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if the exchange coins, even DYDX is looking. So this is the Uni pump mostly, right? Yeah. Yeah, like BNB. Not sure. I'm not the biggest fan of trading BNB. I had some deep PTSD of. Actually, it's kind of funny. Of this week, which we are actually feeling now. I lost quite a bit of money in November 2022. When this happened, this was
Oh, that was
obviously
FTX.
FTX. Yeah, that was FTX, but I was also kind of long BNB. At the same time. This was like the only long I had. And the BNB, actually, this is just a funny story. Like the biggest shit, what is this? So I'm not going to spend an hours on this. Yeah, like this basically, yeah, this is like the FTX thing, and I kind of longed it somewhere here. Was was sleeping when this week happened, and then I just woke up taking so much shit. But luckily it was on Binance and not FTX, so I remained solvent at the end.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
So yeah, we've been live for hour. We have to end the stream today because Runner is flying to the United States to become bullish finally. He's gonna come back.
Residency.
Yeah, he's just gonna come back, and the next stream he's going to just be screaming Remilio and longing everything.
Oh my! I would rather literally end myself than become that part of CT, shilling Solana on chain caps and being like.
He's gonna just like arrive at the airport with like 15 ACs and, you know, shilling on chain to everyone on the way home. So yeah, that is going to be changed in streams. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know when you're coming back.
I don't even know.
Okay, nice. So we will be streaming when Runner is back from the United States, which is probably going to be sometimes next week.
All right, peace, and stick to spot. Leverage is not good.